But that was not the only big WWE story that broke today. There was another story, another announcement that was made with the headline TKO appoints Dwayne Johnson to the board of directors. Johnson granted full ownership of trademark name The Rock. I know he said he wanted to sit at the head of the table, but this is ridiculous. TKO Group Holdings has appointed Dwayne Johnson to its board of directors effective today. WWE has also entered into a services and merchandising agreement with Johnson that provides for his promotional, licensing, and other services, and an intellectual property assignment agreement, pursuant to which Johnson has secured ownership of the trademark name The Rock. The addition of Johnson, as well as today's appointment of Brad Keywell to TKO's board of directors, will increase TKO's board from 11 to 13 members. And earlier this morning, there he was, The Rock, ringing the opening bell to the New York Stock Exchange. Ari Emanuel, Mark Shapiro, Vince McMahon and his mustache, Nick Khan, Paul Levesque, they were all there to join him. The Rock is going to get $30 million worth of TKO stock as part of his appointment to the board, as payment to promote the WWE brand. Not only did he get them to sign over the rights to the Rock name, he got them to pay him for it. What a guy. What a guy. And all that money does not include the money that he would make for doing another match and any new merch they make for him. So it's not a bad deal if you're The Rock. Now, as part of the deal to get him on board, he gets full rights to use the Rock name, which he was allowed to use before, but WWE would share in those deals. And he also signed a services and merchandising agreement for licensing and other services, which means WWE can use the name as well for all wrestling-related products, I believe for up to 10 years. And this is an unprecedented thing. I mean, I cannot think of another example of this, where WWE has just handed over the rights to someone's name to them. I'm not saying it hasn't happened before. There are people outside the company who are, for one reason or another, able to still use their name. In a lot of those cases, I think it's just a matter of them having previously held ownership of it before they signed with WWE, and so they get to use their name outside. I had somebody ask me that question recently about Mustafa Ali. How is he able to use that name on the independent scene, right? So there are different explanations for why people are or are not able to do that. But this sort of deal here, where they just allow somebody, especially a star of his stature, who otherwise would not have had the rights to that name, and grant him the rights to use it, full rights to use this name, is something that we have not seen before. But The Rock is also one of the biggest stars in the entire world. He's not just another guy. And they want to be in the Dwayne Johnson business. WWE, any opportunity they get to work with The Rock and to cozy up to him and partner with him in some way and buddy up to him, they're going to do it. And he's friendly with Nick Khan, who's really the bigwig there now in that company. He's friendly with him and Ari Emanuel and Triple H. They're all friends. They're all buddies. And he's friendly with Vince McMahon as well. So again, he's in a unique position that nobody else has ever been in before because of just how big of a name he is. And to Rock's credit, he's always been a wrestling fan. Wrestling is part of his family lineage. He never forgot where he came from, no matter how big he got and all the movies and all the different projects. And he genuinely wants to still be connected to WWE in some way. So it was a relationship that made sense. They each get something out of it. They get to have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson on their board. He gets the rights to his name. He gets a seat on the board. He gets to be a part of the family. It's a win-win for everybody. Now, per WrestleVotes and PW Insider, Rock was also a surprise guest at today's all-hands-on-deck employee meeting at WWE headquarters in Stamford. The meeting was held with Rock, Triple H, Nick Khan all speaking, and they all praised the employees and they thanked them for getting the company to where it is today. And on the same day that Rock is appointed to the board of directors, it just so happens that his daughter, Ava, has been named the new general manager of NXT. I saw the clip from tonight's show as I was getting ready to sit down here and record. She was shown walking out of Shawn Michaels' office, and right behind her was William Regal, the former general manager of NXT, his first televised appearance since leaving AEW and returning to WWE. And he explained to her, he congratulated her first, but he explained to her that it's a thankless job, it's a difficult job, but if you ever need anything at all, just call me. I'd rather we got him as the GM again. Actually, I would rather see him doing something on Raw or SmackDown. We just talked about this on Friday night during the SmackDown stream. Maybe managing Pete Dunne and Tyler Bate. Or if Pete Dunne ever splits away from Tyler Bate and goes heel, right? The heel bruiserweight, maybe him and Regal as a combo. Regal could be his manager. I don't know if that's the sort of thing that they would want Regal to do, or if he would be interested in that. There's no GM openings right now. So it would be a way to get him on TV. But how about that, huh? It was a good day. It was a good day to be a Johnson. That didn't sound right, but you know what I mean. So let's move on. Because from the stock exchange, The Rock made the rounds, and he was on CNBC sitting next to his buddy Ari, and they were talking about this and the Netflix deal. And then he also appeared on ESPN. He was on ESPN First Take with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon Sharp. And he was asked by Stephen A. Smith about coming back and having another match and wrestling Roman Reigns. And this is what Rock had to say. He said, "Look, you guys know, I feel like you know me. I'm a long gamer. I like to build. And what this is, if myself and Roman Reigns were to main event WrestleMania, and I mean this very respectfully of all the WrestleManias prior because I grew up in this business and I love it, we could possibly put on, with us as the main event, and this incredible group of men and women who are these incredible performers, we could possibly put on the greatest and the biggest WrestleMania of all time." He said, "I love this business, I love pro wrestling, I love WWE, but also I have this deep passion to grow it and to build it. And if we're going to do something like this, I want the world to watch." And when asked what he means by growing WWE and taking it to another level, to his credit, Stephen A. Smith kind of pushed him on this and said, "Be specific. What do you mean when you say that?" Johnson said he feels there's still a global footprint that WWE can continue to anchor into. He said there are new places to go and people to reach. He said that if there were going to be a Rock versus Reigns WrestleMania, he wants to cast that net as wide as possible. And he paused in the middle of trying to figure out what he wanted to say. He paused for what felt like a good 10 seconds. Like legit, it was a good 6 to 8 seconds. Because it looked to me like he was trying to be very careful. Like he knows something, but he doesn't want to give too much away. He was being very careful with the words that he chose. I am actually more at ease about WrestleMania this year than I was before this interview, as far as them, saving Rock and Roman for some other show and not upending their existing plans for WrestleMania based on what he said here. I'm actually more at ease now. When he talks the long game and building something, right? He likes to build things. That doesn't sound to me like someone who wants to rush through what he feels could be the biggest program in WWE history in the span of 8 weeks or 9 weeks. That sounds to me like someone who's thinking of something for next year's WrestleMania. It's not like he hasn't done this before. He and John Cena did a 3-year program that started with Rock hosting WrestleMania 27 and getting involved in the main event that night with Cena and Miz. That led to the challenge being made a year in advance for WrestleMania 28, Rock versus Cena, once in a lifetime, which turned into twice in a lifetime at WrestleMania 29. Maybe Rock comes out, he confronts Roman after his match on Saturday, and Roman still says, right, there's a follow-up promo maybe, Roman is not interested in fighting him. Paul Heyman made that very clear a few weeks ago on TV. You were not invited to sit at the table. And we go on to have Rock at WrestleMania this year, but he's there to fight off the bloodline to clear the way for Cody Rhodes to win the title. And we get the challenge made a year in advance for WrestleMania 41, like he did with John Cena. There is no need for them to hotshot a match this big for a show that has already sold 90,000 tickets across both nights. There's no need for it. When Rock talks about wanting to do something unprecedented, that's what he told ESPN. I think he was on College Game Day months ago, back in September, when he revealed that they were this close to doing Rock and Roman at Wrestlemania in Hollywood last year, but then it fell apart, right? They put their pencils down. They couldn't figure out what that idea was. They were going to do it last year. He talked about, we want to do something that's never been done before. We want to do something unprecedented. And then I listened to the words that he is using here in this interview, talking about a global footprint that they can anchor into, right, with new places to go. And I think back to Money in the Bank last year and the pitch that John Cena made when he came out and he made the pitch for a London Wrestlemania, right? They don't do that unless they have plans to bring Wrestlemania to London. Maybe those plans were not locked in yet. Maybe there's nothing signed, sealed, and delivered, but they don't send Cena out there to say what he said unless they know they want to bring WrestleMania to the UK, and there's a real chance of that happening. Something that would have been a non-starter for them years ago because of the time zone difference, right? They would not have even considered it, is no longer an issue with Peacock. And all of the international shows that they produce every single year, more of them now than ever before. We have Elimination Chamber next month in Australia. We have Backlash coming to France. We have Bash in Berlin. And that's to say nothing of all the Saudi Arabia shows. Now, I know Minneapolis has long been rumored for WrestleMania 41. Again, nothing confirmed, but Minneapolis seemed to be the likely location that was being discussed even up until a few months ago. But what if it's not Minneapolis? What if it's Roman Reigns against The Rock, WrestleMania 41 at Wembley Stadium? The first WrestleMania ever outside of North America. That would qualify as something that's never been done before. And Rock could be the face of it. He could be at the center of the whole thing. They don't need to do it this year, when they have an entire year to build to what could be the biggest WrestleMania of all time.